Good morning to all. Welcome to the first introductory session on economics. The second PUC economics is indeed a very interesting subject, and for all of us, we need to know how to study the subject, how to score better, and how to take it forward. So in this session, I'm going to tell you about what are the contents of economics, how do we take the subject forward, the syllabus, the pattern, and how to score better so that your marks in economics come out the best going forward. Now, the importance of economics. Probably most of us would have understood or assumed that economics is the most boring subject in the world, but definitely not. With the advent of NCERT coming into it, they have taken into account these 4 factors. That's why economics becomes more important and more higher priority for us to learn altogether. First thing, they have made the syllabus very easy and understanding, which means economics is no more boring, but it's going to be easy for you to understand. Every single concept has been made as easy as possible with illustrative examples. So that's very important for us to understand here. Number 2, effective. Each and everything that you are going to learn in economics, every single concept is being made so effective that you can use those examples in your day-to-day life. So going forward, economics is not going to be that dry subject, but it's going to be an effective subject that's going to make you learn, that's going to make you understand the concepts on a day-to-day basis. The third point, excellence altogether. Now, why is that word excellence coming into picture? NCERT has designed the syllabus in such a way that you don't just learn, but you get inspired. You start applying those techniques in your day-to-day life, and you also take it forward for higher learning and research purpose. Now, at the second PUC level, why this word excellence is coming is that I believe and I understand that each one of you need to excel in your academics, in every single subject you take. So similarly, when it comes to economics, that word excellence is very important. Why? Because you need to excel in economics. And that excellence will come when you start understanding the concept, when you start understanding the importance. So the word excellence here is not just about marks, it's not just about your ranks or grade, but it's about you going forward, understanding the subject and performing at your best levels possible. So excellence is definitely a very important word here. Next, exceed. You need to exceed yourself. So NCERT has also taken into consideration how can you perform better. Every single chapter, starting from the first till the last, they have made it in such a way that learning is so easy and you need to keep exceeding your own expectations. So whenever you're going to learn a chapter, the next chapter is just going to be an add-on. You're going to add the concept and keep on going till the last end of the syllabus. So you're going to exceed yourself every day, every time, and make yourself sure that economics is not going to be a boring subject, but economics is going to be a challenging subject for all of you, taking it forward with all spirit of joy and learning. Now moving forward, let me tell you what are the books that have to be studied for the second PUC economics. There are 2 books that have been prescribed by the NCERT. The first book is called as the Introductory Microeconomics, and the second book is called as the Introductory Macroeconomics. So there are 2 textbooks. Each book will have 6 chapters. So there will be 6 chapters in microeconomics. There will be 6 chapters in macroeconomics. So these are the only books that you need to refer for your exam standpoint of view. So I repeat that these are the only 2 books that you need to refer from your exam standpoint of view. Now, if you want to learn further, there are definitely a lot of books, but sticking completely the focus towards your examination standpoint, please stick only to the prescribed textbooks of NCERT. Moving forward, now let us discuss the syllabus in detail. What does economics have in store for us for the coming years to study? The syllabus is divided in two parts, I've told you, like microeconomics and macroeconomics altogether. Now, starting with microeconomics, we have 6 chapters, starting with Introduction to Microeconomics. This is just going to be a bird's eye view of making you understand what is economics. The second chapter is going to make you understand further about the theory of consumer behavior. What is a consumer? Who is a consumer? What are the behavioral practices? Then we are going to talk about production cost, a very interesting chapter. Why? Because it's also scoring and it has got a lot of practical oriented questions coming out from there. So that chapter is really going to be interesting for us. Moving on, the 4th chapter, we are going to learn about a word called as competition. We are going to learn about in the modern days, what do you mean by a perfect competition? The 5th chapter is going to be on market equilibrium. Of course, these terms and terminologies might appear new to you at the first instance, but believe me, it's a very, very simple syllabus. This is just going to guide you step by step, making you understand what is economics altogether. So when I talk about market equilibrium, it's all going to talk about the market dynamics, how we are going to be a part of the system, and how economy revolves around us. Last but not the least, in microeconomics, non-competitive markets, quite a new thing for you to learn, and this is going to be interesting again. Why? Because this is a new form of market, a new dynamic system that you are going to learn. So we have 6 chapters in microeconomics. Moving forward, we will see the 6 chapters in macroeconomics. So macroeconomics is equally divided. Now, this is one point which I want to make here very clear. NCERT has taken the effort of making the subject equally well divided so that you are able to score and understand on both parts of the micro and macro. Now, the effort has gone in such a way that they have divided the subject in 2 equal halves, where you can understand the concept, where you can have an application also and the theory also. So the most important part here is that I want all of you to understand and spend time in understanding the entire syllabus, going through all the 12 chapters. All the chapters are equally important, so we need to spend time in each and every chapter understanding the concepts clearly. Now, coming forward in macroeconomics, if you look, again there are 6 chapters. All the 6 chapters are very, very interesting ones. The reason being, the introduction to macroeconomics itself is going to give you a bird's eye view, rather I would say an eagle's eye view. Why? Because you're going to understand the entire Indian economic system there. Moving forward, national income accounting, a practical oriented chapter where you're going to introduce your accounting concepts with your economic concepts. Money and banking, very interesting chapter because most of us are interested to know about the dynamics of money, how money is evolved, what are banks, how do they play an important role in our life. So all those concepts are going to be covered there. Then we're going to have income determination. This is a challenging chapter because till now we might have just heard about the word income, but in economics this is the first time that we are going to understand about how income is going to come and how are the important factors of income that are going to play in the economics. Next we have government budget and economy. This is also going to be an interesting chapter because this is going to talk about the budget and various factors. We would have heard about budget and those terms in news, in channels, in different papers altogether, but so we are going to see here in much more detail what are the factors that govern the budget altogether. And last but not the least, this is a very, very interesting concept called as open market economy. I want to underline this topic very clearly. Why? Because open market economy is a very new term that had come into economics in the late 20th century, and this is going to be the factor that's going to rule the economy going forward. So this has been an exemplary work by NCERT by introducing them into the syllabus. So you are also going to find the good effects, the good learning factor by understanding the open market economy. So please spend time in understanding the syllabus putting your effort, understanding the concept so that you are able to exceed your expectation and come out with excellent marks. Now, moving forward, the question paper pattern. So how is that, sir, I can score marks in economics? What is that I have got so that I would be able to get the best marks possible? So let's have a quick look into the question paper pattern altogether. Now, starting with section A, we have 20 marks, which is objective. You've got no choice there. But what is very important for us and what is exciting for us to know is that this entire 20 marks is divided into 4 different factors. So when I say here, there are going to be 4 factors. The first one is going to be choose the correct answer. The second one is going to be on match the following. The third one is going to be fill up the blanks, and the fourth one is going to be writing 1-mark questions. So you would see that this entire 20 marks is divided into 5 into 4, which is equal to 20. Now, is it possible for me to score that 20 marks? The answer is an absolute yes, because this is just going to test you, your concept. One word, one correct word you write as the answer here, and all the 20 marks belongs to you. So this is really going to be a scoring section for you. This is where NCERT has brought in a revolutionary factor. Why? Because they're going to test your concept and they're going to take you forward, making you really knowledgeable in the subject. Moving forward, you have section B for 18 marks. Now, how is that 18 marks going to come for us? You need to answer 9 questions out of 14 questions, each carrying 2 marks. So this is going to be really interesting. You just have to write 9 questions out of 14 questions. So that's quite an amount of choice that you have got. And each of these questions are very simple questions where you just have to write the answer to the point and you score 2 marks for each question. So that's 18 marks coming to you straightforward with just writing the concept correctly. Moving forward, the section C. Now we get into the heavyweight part of the question paper. Now that's going to be 4-marker question. 7 questions you need to write out of 11 questions. So you're going to write how many questions? 7 questions out of 11 questions, each carrying 4 marks. Now what is this 4 marks and why the 4 marks weightage has come inside? 4 marks weightage is being given because this is going to take into account your theory, your concept, as well as how you're going to match in terms of the theoretical and the practical ability. So this 4-mark question is also going to be equally easy provided you put in a little bit of effort. So this section C is always going to be a challenging session which is going to cover the entire textbook in detail. Now moving forward, section D, 24 marks is going to come out. And how is that 24 marks going to come to you? Each question you are going to write for 6 marks, and you have 4 questions to write like this from a choice of 6 questions. So there are going to be 6 questions, out of which you are going to write just 4 questions. Each question is going to carry 6 marks, 6 into 4, 24. These are the long type questions. So this really requires some time in understanding, writing it precisely, neatly, with the diagram and putting it forward with the right example. So I repeat again, section D will not be that easy in terms of just writing a 1 word or a 1 line, but this is going to be a long type answer where you're going to write the answer with the graphs, with the theory, with an extended version of all the proper factors and documents there, so that you would be able to score the maximum marks there. Last but not the least, section E, which is going to be the practical oriented question. Now you're going to score 10 marks here. And how can I score that 10 marks? So what is that practical orientation that's coming in economics? You're going to answer 2 questions of 5 marks each out of 3 questions. Now what is this practical oriented question? a question that is going to be taken from your textbook itself. The same textbook which I showed you in the slides talking about the NCERT prescribed textbook. From the lessons, they are going to ask you 2 or 3 simplified questions where you just have to do a minimum calculation and you will be able to score this 5 mark for each question. So you're going to write 2 questions, 2 into 5, 10 marks. So that's going to be the pattern for you for the economics paper. Now, let's look into it, into a deeper dive. Why? Because how can I score the entire 100 marks? So the first focus for you to score the entire 100 marks is, I would like to recommend you to start with section A first. Why? Because you have a 20 marks coming up. These are all simple 1 mark question. The next, I would ask you to concentrate on section E, where you get 10 marks straight. It's just 2 questions of 5 marks, simple question, just fill up the blanks, put in the numbers, you will be able to score it here. So 20 plus 10, already 30 marks is there with you. The next concentration would come to section B, where you can score an 18 marks. These are just 2 sentences you have to write, as I told you before, and that 2 sentences can fetch you 18 marks by answering 9 questions correctly. So 20 plus 10, 30 plus 18, we are going to 48 marks. So almost 50% of the paper weightage itself is in 3 sections, that is section A, section B and section E. Now, of course, if I am focusing for a centum, I want to get the maximum marks possible, I need to concentrate on the heavyweight section, section C and then section D. And these 2 sections, as I told you, are not going to be so simple and easy, because you need to put in a little bit of effort in terms of writing and in terms of justifying your answer. But anyways, please don't worry about it. We will definitely understand the concepts, we can do it and we can write it better, so that at the end of the day you will be scoring your centum in economics. So definitely NCERT has taken out some time. They have made us understand very clearly that every single concept, every single pattern and every single modelization of the question paper is taken into account, so that the students can score the marks and plus they can also understand the concepts very clearly. Now moving forward, the blueprint. What is this blueprint all about? The blueprint is going to be the final structure in terms of weightage that is being given to every single chapter in economics. So we have 12 chapters in economics, 6 chapters in microeconomics and 6 chapters in macroeconomics. Now, out of which, what are the marks that are going to be allocated for each and every chapter? Starting with the first chapter, you have 6 marks. The second chapter, you have 20 marks. The third chapter, you have 11 marks. The fourth chapter is for 12 marks. Again, the fifth chapter and sixth chapter are for 11 marks each. When we move to macroeconomics, it starts with 6 marks again, the first chapter. Moving on to the second chapter, it becomes 20 marks. Then we have the third chapter, that was in macroeconomics, coming for 12 marks. Then we have 10 marks each for the next 2 chapters, that is chapter 10 and chapter 11. And the last chapter, which I was telling you, the most interesting chapter, the open market economy, that's going to come here again for 20 marks. So this is where the blueprint has been given with the weightage for each and every chapter altogether. Now, what are going to be the number of sessions for each and every chapter? Starting with the first session till the last session, there has been a particular amount of time that has been allocated to make you understand the chapter in depth, make you understand the questions, the answers, the concepts very clearly, so that you are able to excel in the subject at every single instance. Now, what I have done also is that I've also included the POQ, that is the practical oriented questions, from which chapters they are likely or possibly going to come. So let us see into it. On chapter number 2 and chapter number 3, definitely yes, you have a question coming from. So now you know that if you can prioritize in your mind, if you can work it out in your mind, you are going to get 2 questions from there. Similarly, from chapter number 8, National Income Accounting, you will get 1 question coming up. And the last one, chapter number 12, Open Market Economy, there's 1 more question that is going to come there in the practical oriented session. So these are the questions that are going to make a design, that are going to make a definite difference for you in terms of scoring. Now, how do I take all the 12 chapters together and I move forward? Now, this, when I speak about the 12 chapters, yes, this definitely looks easy when we look into the slide. But then we need to plan, we need to prioritize ourselves so that we are able to do our work neatly, clearly, and move forward in terms of exceeding our expectations and meeting our goals. So I have done a small priority workout for you. Now the priority will tell you which are the chapters which you need to spend more time, and which are the chapters where you need to give a little time, and which are the chapters where you can give a moderate amount of time. So starting with the first chapter, I would like to give a priority on a lower scale because that's just an introduction chapter. So if you can just spend about an hour or 2, that would be enough. The second chapter is a high priority because this is a bigger concept. It has got a lot of concepts. It has got a lot of terms to be understood. So this is going to be a high priority. Similarly, the next 2 chapters are going to be on medium, followed by which, when I'm going to talk about chapter 5 and 6, that's again a medium priority chapters because the marks are also in that trend. Now moving forward, when we come to macroeconomics, the first chapter is again a low priority because it's just going to be a simple topic. But then once we go to the 8th chapter, National Income Accounting, it's a high priority one because you have a 20 marks coming out from there. And as you move down, you would start seeing, when you come to the open market economy, again a high priority where you can score 20 marks. So this is how you need to prioritize yourself and study for the subject. Moving forward, these are the most important chapters that we are going to see in economics. These are, rather, I would use the word, scoring chapters for you. These 4 chapters, if you concentrate, spend your time much, you will be definitely able to score maximum marks in economics because these 4 chapters have got high priority when it comes to your second PUC economics final exam. Now, what are those chapters? The first 2 chapters, that is theory of consumer behavior, theory of firm under perfect competition, are from microeconomics. The next 2 chapters, National Income Accounting and Open Market Economy, are from the macroeconomics. So again, NCERT has equally divided the syllabus, given an equal weightage so that students can score marks in both the halves equally. So you need to look into this and you need to prioritize yourself and you need to take forward the subject in such a way that you are able to score the maximum. Hope I'm able to clarify all your doubts regarding the economics paper. Now going forward in the coming sessions, what we would be seeing in detail is about every single chapter, how to take it forward, how to study it in the best manner and make economics the most interesting subject going forward. Thank you for joining me today on this introductory session. I wish you all the best in the coming sessions, and let's do best so that we exceed our expectation and we carry forward our trademark of excellence. Thank you once again.